Hello everybody, my name is Red Oliero and welcome again to the Medyo Serious Talk Show. As you can see, andito tayo sa ating brand new studio. Brand new ba to? Parang hindi naman pala brand new. Bagong carpet. Ewan ko nakikita niyo, may shot ba tayo ng carpet? Baka nakikita. Ayun, good job. Andito po tayo ngayon, kasama po ang ating guest, si Congressman Roman Romulo. Welcome po, sir. Welcome.
Yes, magandang araw, Red, at sa lahat ng viewers. Magandang araw rin.
Meron tayong 12 viewers so far. So, yan natin. Ito, sir, ano ko lang. Ikaw po ay a House Education Committee Chair.
Yes.
So, bago tayo nagsimula mag-roll, tinry kong pa-explain yung role nyo. And dahil medyo engot ako, konti lang yung naintindihan ko. Pero for our viewers, imbis na ako yung mag-explain, can you explain what does the role entail?
Yung sakop ng Committee on Basic Education and Culture, pag basic education, that is the K-12 program, so DepEd. Lahat, anything to do with the Department of Education, sakop rin ng committee. So yung mga polisiya, yung pag-oversight sa ginagawa, or yung K-12 itself, nasa committee ko yon. Pero kasama rin sa committee ko is culture. So yung culture would entail yung mga trabaho ng NCCA, National Museum, again, anything about culture, basically, kasama sa education.
Is it part of your committee to make sure na whatever, kung ano yung kunwari, National Museum, what is displayed there, is also parang kasama rin kayo sa pag-curate nun? Or
Hindi.
as pag-assign ng mga tao?
Hindi naman. Kasi yun, kunyari National Museum, the National Museum has a board. So yung board yung in charge doon.
Oh, okay.
Ang mangyayari po sa atin talaga, katulad sa culture, like gusto natin, may isang probinsya na gusto nilang i-feature yung, sinasabi nila may historical site doon.
Yeah.
Yun ang papasok sa committee ko.
Okay.
Pero yung workings of the National Museum, or kaya NCCA.
Okay.
NCCA is in charge of the different arts, yung iba-ibang forms of arts sa Pilipinas. Marami silang sub-boards, di ba?
Yeah.
So yun, that is also taken care of by the NCCA board, which of course, ex-officio member, ang chairperson.
Ang NCCA, sorry, anong ibig
National
sabihin?
Commission for Culture and Arts.
Yun, okay. Alam ko yun. Tinanong ko lang sa kanya kung ano. para sure. Tawag doon. Kasi may mga tao na I think like me also na, believe it or not, I've been an artist, performing artist since 2007, na it's very hard for me to navigate kung saan yung, or kung sinong parte ng gobyerno or agency ng gobyerno yung maaaring makatulong sa amin or to give us clarity on how to like tawag doon to conduct business here or something like that, di ba? Tawag doon, is that something na you feel like a lot of people are struggling with na hindi nila alam kung anong agencies yung naka-assign sa kanila, parang ganun?
Definitely, Red. In fact, during the pandemic, talagang isa sa big issues yan because marami tayo na mga Filipino sa performer sila And then ang nangyari at that time, nawala yung walang live performances nun Walang theater, walang singing in
walang
any...
concert, walang
concert.
Walang bars.
So that time talagang marami independent na mga artists natin, nagka-problema talaga.
Yes.
That is why, ang nangyari dyan, so, ang tanong nga, saan sila makakakuha ng tulong? Alam mo, during that pandemic, if there was one good thing rin, amongst the rest naman na nangyari, meron mga na-discover na mga departments or offices within departments
Naghanap ng mga tao.
that can actually help. Like, kunyari yung mga independent natin na mga artists. Under the CREATE law noon, wherein incentives were given, DTI po yan Sa DTI kasi, there is an office in the DTI which actually deals with creative arts.
Okay.
Matagal na raw yung office na yon. Pero lumabas na lang po talaga yan, yung prominence niya during the pandemic.
Kasi nangailangan na yung mga...
Because nagtanong na lahat, saan ba talaga makakakuha ng tulong ang mga independent artists natin. So diyan lumabas yan kasi NCCA is also a government agency na pwedeng mahinga ng tulong, pero yung kanila more of traditional Yung mga traditional arts and culture di ba?
Okay, gets.
Doon sila. Of course, they also have that mandate na pwedeng lumawak. Pero alam mo naman sa Pilipinas minsan dikahon talaga ang tingin. It will take some time para lumabas ka dun sa kahon na yun.
Categorization natin, very traditional pa rin at some point.
Yes, oo. Hindi, yung adjustment, yung not flexible enough pa tayong lahat So, pero in due time, aabot yan. But it's good to know na sa DTI, meron din dyan, there is an office there which deals with creative arts. That is why, that is one thing that should be further developed. Talaga, strengthen. Kasi sa totoo, napag-usapan rin kasi dyan, kaya nalaman yan, during the pandemic, merong mga nag-iisip ng kailangan ba natin ng Department of Culture. Kasi katulad sa ibang bansa, may Department of Culture, di ba? Ang intindi ko, ang trabaho kasi nung Department of Culture noon, sa Korea, was really to help market. Mina-market niya yung Korean artist, Korean culture And yun naman, DTI should also be the perfect house for that. Because trade and industry nga siya. That is, kaya nga siguro dati pa may office doon, pero...
Baka naman masyadong broad stroke sa DTI, kaya hindi nanutukan yung culture part, no?
Maari, or again, yung mandato niya dati na traditional rin na dapat industriya, dapat may factory, dapat may di ba? But then, I think... especially during that pandemic, medyo lumalawak na yung yung kaisipan ng marami. Nalalaman na natin na there are more things talaga than the conventional way of tagging departments and offices.
Sana tawag doon, nagbibigay sila ng grant sa mga independent artists, meron bang ganun?
Ang NCCA sure ko merong ganun.
Okay, mag-resign na ako.
May grants na ganun. Nakakabigay sila. Kunyari yung even free for making of museums, yung curating, meron dyan Hindi lang ako ganun ka-familiar yung sa mechanics, pero meron din dyan.
So it just goes to show na talagang ang daming pwede palang I think people should be just more aware of like who to approach or how to approach or something like that.
Yes, at saka Red, sa totoo, baka rin dapat mas maging open rin yung iba-iba nating ahensya ng gobyerno. Kasi feeling ko, yung iba naman, masyado nagiging comfortable with the clientele that they have.
Gets.
Ano mo yun? So parang...
Okay na ako sa...
Okay na to, nakakatulong naman ako. We have to be more proactive in government, including all these other agencies and offices. Kasi hindi naman pwede na taon-taon nabibigyan ka ng budget. Tama naman, nabibigyan mo na nakakatulong ka kunyari sa isang ballet performance. Pero... Again, it's widening the opportunities for the creatives, Filipino creatives.
You've had different kinds of influences ng culture. May mga iba ng eksena ngayon na kailangan din ng support, di ba?
Pero again, it's not only from the part sa public, knowing ano yung pwedeng i-offer ng gobyerno. Pero the government, especially those in those offices, kailangan maging proactive. Hindi ka maging happy where you are. Hindi yung okay na kami. Dami natutulungan dito, okay na. Hindi. You have to, dapat may progress Mapalaki mo pa yan
Dapat mag-reach out or something.
Correct.
Like that.
Yes, kasi that's the only way. Kasi nag-iiba-iba rin ng kultura
Kasi like kunwari, artists like me, I feel like we don't know.
But then, nakikita natin, di ba? The artists like you, nakikita natin Filipinos who have similar craft as you, they succeed kahit abroad Di ba? Ibig sabihin, may market not only domestically, pero internationally So maybe it requires some push, some help, assistance from government agencies. Kasi even abroad, sino makakatulong sa'yo doon? Kunyari, Pinoy ka, nandito ka.
Tama.
Of course, may friends ka dyan, may websites na yan.
Baka private sector will help you.
Meron kang DFA doon You have embassies, you have that can lend a helping hand to Filipinos who would want to branch out, di ba? Showcase the Philippines and Filipinos.
Totoo. Yeah. And it's always a good thing, I think, na we send out a lot of people na tawag doon to perform or to do shows abroad then and everything. Kasi I feel like I always stress out na ang Pinoy's global people na tayo. We're not, ano na ngayon, parang kilala na tayo sa buong mundo. Like we have Hollywood films na sikat na may Filipino character and it's like normal for them now. Alam mo yun, parang ganun. Alam na nila yung pagkain natin, kultura natin.
Nakita ko nga, I don't know kung matagal na to, na chance upon ko lang, may nakita akong sa Jeopardy, may category na Philippines. Diba? So, and then it's also the best way to showcase what the Philippines is. Especially pag nakita nila, this person's a Filipino, kahit
may,
paano.
may parang pagka-pride din. No?
May pride, then mapapakilala kung sino ang Pilipino.
Is this something that you have your ear to the ground for? Mga ganong klaseng type of like rumblings na mga Filipino culture that excels in certain types of other places, ganun?
Alam mo, ako ang gusto ko talaga, yung excellence ng Pinoy ma-show abroad.
Yes.
And even domestically. Pero alam ko na mas marunong sa akin dyan. Like yung NCCA, yung board, yung National Museum. There are certain things na dapat hayaan rin naman natin yung mga tunay na eksperto. Sa akin, ang mas focus ko talaga is improving the quality of education sa ating DepEd schools. Kasi ang Pilipino talaga by nature, alam naman natin matalino talaga eh. Pero talagang meron mga kulang lang talaga, siguro basics na kulang tayo, or there came a time na masyado naman nating pinuno ng competencies, ng subjects. Parang gusto natin,
naging broad masyado.
Masyadong broad na nakalimutan natin yung basics. And then, siguro yun yung confidence rin natin sa kapwa Pinoy eh. Kasi alam natin magaling, talagang linood natin ng sobrang daming subject and competencies, nakalimutan yung basics eh.
Are we at like a poor state ba, education-wise? What do you think? They're like, syempre, pag sa social media ka, you're a headline reader sometimes. Ako, admittedly, minsan parang babasahin ko lang headline, wala akong pakialam dun sa Syempre, parating may buzz headline na, we are very low in math, low in reading comprehension, ganong klase. Ganon ba talaga kasad yung natin?
Based on international assessment tests. Yan yung PISA, PLM, TIMSS, medyo talagang mababa talaga tayo. Based on our own test, kunyari yung mga
sariling
standards natin, yung binibigay natin sa ating schools, yung NAT, meron tayong National Achievement Test, binibigyan sa DepEd schools yan, meron sa grades 1 to 3, ELNA or CARLA, kahit doon medyo hindi rin tayo mataas in our own assessment rin, mga test natin. Pero lagi tayong may excuse sa mga ganyang bagay, di ba? But the point is, hindi naman tayo nandoon sa punto na kahit mababa tayo na irreversible na. In fact, a little adjustment lang, talagang puputok yung potential ng Pilipino eh. Because despite the fact na andirito nga tayo, mababa tayo sa international assessment exams, sa own assessment natin, mababa tayo. Pero ang dami pa rin Pinoy. They shine brightly whether domestically or internationally. Kung mausap ka ng pangkaraniwang Pilipino, tama ka, maybe yung attention span medyo nawawala. Pero sa totoo, reasonable pa rin ang Pilipino, pwede mong makausap eh. So sa akin talaga, just a little adjustment pa. Maraming problema, pero small adjustments, puputok talaga yung yung potential.
Like a small adjustment that would make a significant change?
Yes. Example ngayon, when we introduced K-12, we had about 15,000 plus competencies. Binawasan yan to 5,000 plus. Pero hanggang ngayon, ang haba nung, di ba nga ang complain nga ng mga magulang ng mga bata sa DepEd schools, ang bibigat ng bag na dala nila, kahit batang-bata ang bibigat. Ngayon, hindi na mabigat. Hindi dahil sa kumonti ang subjects. Pero dahil hindi na de-deliver on time ang textbook. Pero that's the reason. But the point is, napakaraming subjects. I think it is about time. Ito yung, sa akin, the quick solution. Mag-focus na tayo on functional literacy. Meaning, reading comprehension, grade level appropriate. Kasi there was a time, alam niyo paano natin tinitingnan dito sa Pilipinas kung literate o hindi? Our own test by may government agency tayo. Basic literacy nila, basta marunong ka magbasa. Tapos yung part 2 nila, functional literacy. So tinanong ko, anong difference ng basic and functional? Yung basic, marunong ka magbasa. Yung functional, naintindihan mo yung binabasa mo. Sabi ko, ano ang value na nakakabasa ka, pero hindi mo naintindihan?
Oo nga.
So there is no, ngayon, in the next surveys that the government will do, babaguhin na yon.
Good.
Pero again, it will mean the next pa, not the current survey being done, kasi ongoing na siya. Pero yun yung point ko mag-focus lang tayo on reading comprehension grade level appropriate, math grade level appropriate, malaking bagay. Kasi now we have technology. Sinasabi ng mga ibang tao, nako, ang technology, yung computers, wag niyo muna
pampatamad.
gagawin mo mag-games. The reason, ito yung pananaw ko the reason, Red, bakit ginagamit ng iba yung computers, because mahina nga ang reading comprehension.
Yes.
Hindi ka maka-research. Ang games, you don't need reading comprehension that much. So, that's the easiest thing. Magi-games na lang ako. Pero, tayo nga, marites nga ang Pinoy. Di ba? The moment may comprehension ka, alam mong pwede ka mag-research yan, mag-uumpisa na yan gumamit ng tama ng Google.
Yeah, tama.
I mean, again, yung Google na yan, minamalain rin yan, di ba? Pag sinasabi yan. But again, there are many things that are discoverable in the
Exactly,
the computer that will really help you. Di ba? Pero you need, you need critical thinking.
Tama.
But to get to critical thinking, you need a very basic thing,
Tsaka,
which is reading comprehension.
Tsaka parang medyo kailangan din ng parang enabling din na culture na to get you to encourage to read up on things that are interesting to you, not just like play stuff online, di ba?
Red, that is exact. Tama ka. Alam mo bakit? Napag-usapan namin, may nagsabi sa amin sa committee, parang DepEd grade 7 natin, parang 11 subjects. Pag Lunes, ganito na lang, grade 1. Grade 1, mag-uumpisa ka 5 to 6 subjects. Pagdating mo ng grade 3, 8 to 9 subjects ka na. Kaya ang mga estudyante sa atin, sa totoo lang, ang ginawa sa dami ng subjects, nawala yung love for learning, love for going to school.
Na-stress ka na.
Na-stress na eh. Pag umaga ng Lunes, ang bibigat ng paa ng lahat eh. Kasi nga ayaw mo, hindi ka excited eh. Ang point is, kung mag-limit tayo ng subjects to really yung reading comprehension, grade level, appropriate math, but then you have electives. Pwede ka mag-electives. Yung hilig nung learner.
Yes.
Either elective siya or on his, her own. Pwede niyang gawin yun sa sa technology. Pero ang point is, wag naman natin, pagdating ng grade 11, 12, pinapapili natin sila, una, tracks. Pag nakapili ka ng track, pipili ka strand. Pinahaba na nga natin ng 2 years ang basic education. Pag nagkamali ka pa ng napiling strand, pag yung course mo sa college, hindi yun yung tumutugma na strand, magdadagdag ka pa ng credits. So, pahaba tayo ng pahaba instead of a culture, yung sinabi kanina, in culture of loving learning, enabling a learner to love school, love learning. Binaliktad natin dahil ginampak nga natin eh. So bawasan natin, let's stick to core subjects that are essential for a learner, for a Filipino, to be able to, yun yung ma-jump off point niya para yung ma-unleash yung potential niya. Yun lang yun eh. And reading comprehension is the most basic eh.
Yun
kung wala ka nun, wala na. Yung critical thinking is just words that we will forever want to achieve. Kasi maganda pakinggan.
Maganda yung point na sinabi mo about maybe some of the units that are required are choice niya, what the student is interested in. Because I would say, there's a lot of, parang, minsan, if you are a person that is not tuned to what the academe, sets you up for.
Yung thrust niya ngayon.
Parang ganun. Kung ito lang yung focus ko, wala, gusto kong, gitarista ako, gusto kong mag-gitara. Wala masyadong focus on music. Baka sabihin nating, tawag doon, after school lang yung music mo, di ba? So parang feeling ko nawawala yung desire mo to learn about that. And isa rin sa mga, I think, factors din, lalo na looking back with how everything it was when I was in high school or whatever. May times minsan that I would be interested in a subject or someone would be interested in a subject and then that interest kind of like spreads to others, di ba? Kasi parang, uy, ganito pala matuto. Gusto ko rin matutunan to. Parang ganong klase. So sana may ganon. No?
Alam mo, Red, yung right now, di ba nag-introduce ng K-12?
Yeah.
When we
How is that doing, by the way? Like, kasi, syempre nung unang inintroduce siya, it means an extra
2 years.
2 years before you go to college. I remember, I graduated college at 20.
Yeah.
Pero naisip ko, hindi ko alam kung anong gusto kong gawin sa buhay. 20 years old, 60 years old I was in college.
Yes.
Hindi ko alam kung tama yung course. Obviously, hindi tama yung course na kinuha ko. Nag-computer science ako, naging komedyante ako. Sobrang layo. Yeah. So, pagdating ko ng 20 years old, still was kind of lost. So, inisip ko ngayon, are they now, is it working, the extra 2 years? Do you feel like they're more prepared for college?
Again, the jury is still out on that. Pero, I think, yung majority, lalo na sa mga naghihirap na pamilya, pabigat talaga siya.
Yes, yun din naisip ko eh.
So,
economic,
ang sinasabi ko nga dyan, pinopropose ko na nga dyan na let's amend it na.
Oh, really?
Yes, I passed it already sa House. It's just
Oh.
waiting for the Senate na
Oh,
lang.
you're not a fan of the K-12? It doesn't fit our...
Oh, but we have to live with it because it's there already now,
Tama,
di ba?
oo.
So, ang proposal ko nga is simple lang eh.
Yeah.
It's a slight tweak lang eh. Sinabi ko ngayon, grade 10, let's graduate everybody sa grade 10.
Okay.
I call it the Education Pathways Bill.
Okay.
After grade 10, graduation tayong lahat.
Uh-huh.
Then now the learner, yung student, mag-choice na siya. Kasi yung iba, ang sinasabi nila kailangan yung K-12 kasi paano kung mag-aaral ka abroad? Paano ka magtatrabaho ka
Tama,
abroad?
tama, oo.
O pero 10% lang ata nag-aaral abroad. Yung mayayaman lang naman talaga.
Exactly, kung may
konting
kailangan lang, oh.
Tsaka yung makakuha ng scholarship.
Oo.
Pero 85 to 90% will stay here. So why do we have to please them, di ba?
Exactly.
Pangalawa, even yung nag-abroad, yung mga trabaho na hindi naman kailangan yon. Baka yung nakakakuha lang ng white-collar jobs, konti lang yon. So ang akin ganito, after grade 10, graduation.
Yeah.
Ngayon, meron talaga mga learner students na importante muna mahawak nila yung diploma, but they have to work. Kailangan nila tulungan yung pamilya nila.
Oo,
At least
totoo
may
yan.
diploma.
Yeah.
So, payagan na muna natin silang tumulong.
Oo naman.
O ngayon, currently meron tayong 4 tracks, di ba? Tech Voc, sports, music, and academics. Sa totoo, Tech Voc ang number 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dati 36% ang pumapasok dyan. Ngayon 29 na lang kasi nga, because right now, under the DepEd, ang binibigay lang natin sa kanila, yung tinatawag na National Certificate 2, yung NC2.
Oh, okay, okay.
We always hear about that,
Yeah,
di ba?
yeah,
O may NC2 na yan. Pero ano ibig sabihin ng NC2? Sabi ng sarili natin, Philippine Qualifications Framework, NC2 just means may skill na yan, pero kailangan bantayan pa.
Okay.
So, hindi siya job ready. So, nangyayari, pagka after niya ng grade 12, dapat job ready na, NC2 lang hawak niya, tinatrain pa ng industriya. So, nagko-complain din yung industriya, di ba? So, ang sinasabi ko, after grade 10, ito, unang choice mo, you can work first. Kung may tatanggap sa'yo, okay yan.
Oo nga.
Second, pwede ka mag-Tech Voc. Pero yung Tech Voc, hindi na under DepEd. It's going to be under yung EBET na talaga, industry curriculum na.
Yes,
Papasok ka na ng industriya para mabigyan ka rin ng allowance,
Yeah.
pero regulated by TESDA.
So you're learning, but also...
On the job learning ka na,
Learning siya, okay.
pero yung training, you're contributing to the industry.
Industry, yeah.
So meron kang allowance na rin.
Yeah, okay.
Pero we also measure your competencies para makakuha ka ng NC3 or NC4.
I see.
Above the
Okay.
NC2. Pag nakakuha kasi ng NC4 o diploma, any diploma sa TESDA.
Parang working certification, parang ganun.
Yes.
Oo.
Pag nakuha mo yung NC4 or diploma, in fact, under our own laws, yung ladderized natin, you can go to college already.
Oh, really?
From grade 10, you get an NC4, a diploma, you can go straight to college. That's our ladderized education law.
That's happening now. That can
Hindi,
happen now.
that
Hindi
can
pa.
happen the moment we open it up
Okay.
na talagang industry-based na. Kasi
That's good. That's at least hindi sila mandated to have that extra 2 years nang hindi sila kumikita. Is nakatulong,
yes, exactly.
diba?
Plus, the competency nila, diretso na sa industriya.
Oo nga,
They
tama.
learn it talaga. Pero, tatanungin, there's still 69% to go to the academic track. Yun, we will still have grades 11 and 12. Pero, ang proposal ko, alisin na lahat ng track. Wala ng track.
Okay.
Wala ng strand.
Okay.
The only mandatory or core subjects to be taught will be first-year college general subjects.
Okay.
Yun lang. So that will be about
Maganda yun.
mga
Yeah.
siguro 4
Psychology, mga ganun klase.
hindi sa
Management.
UP hindi pa nga siya lahat,
talaga?
di ba?
Oh.
Pero the most 4 to 6 subjects lang yun, 7.
Yeah.
Sabi ko yun lang. Sa grades 11 and 12, 4 to 7 subjects lang, core or mandatory. Once you take that and you pass that, college ready ka kasi yun nga yung
Tama.
And then if you can take an advanced placement exam sa colleges, di ba? Para ma-credit yun.
Tama. Oo nga.
Para
Yeah.
mabawasan ka pa ng years kasi you took the same subject matter.
Exactly.
Pero any school can also have electives.
Yes.
Kunyari, gusto mo matuto ng language,
Yeah.
payagan natin as elective. Kung gusto mo ng political science, accounting, let's give all that. Bigyan pa rin natin sila ng electives. Pero the electives, you do not need that to graduate grade 12. Pero may additional akong isang nilagay.
May dala kang may dagdag na, I guess, units for you para nung...
Yun lang, additional, para hilig mo na yon.
Yeah, oo.
Hilig mo na lang yon. Pero may provision ako doon na isa. Kasi ayoko naman na, gusto ko rin inspired ang learner sa K to 10 niya. So meron akong additional provision doon. After grade 10, any student can take an honors exam Hindi ko naman sinabi sino magbibigay, but SHED yan, sigurado. If you pass that honors exam, accelerated ka to first year college.
Wow, okay.
Para naman mag-aral ka rin na mabuti from K to 10. Di ba yun yung akin?
Incentive ka, yeah.
Yes, incentive eh. Di ba para... But if you want to go through 11, 12, no problem, pwede rin eh. Pero again, multiple education pathways lang.
Yeah.
Para may choice talaga and at your pace, kung gusto mo mag-aral lang gusto, K to 10, para pasado ka sa... do it, di ba?
And it fits different kind of like learning profiles, no? Like may mga tao that are slower than the others. There are tao na they want to,
Yes.
accumulate a lot of knowledge agad. May mga tao na talagang just wants to study,
Correct.
di ba?
And what if you want to, yung extracurricular, gusto mo sa clubs ka. This will give you now time to be able to meet your batchmates, classmates, schoolmates.
Tama.
Kasi may time ka na rin for yung mga clubs you can have.
Yeah.
Paano kung mahilig ka talaga sa music?
Yes.
And then, sa totoo, baka merong music class, pero iba pa rin yung natututo ka, na magbabarkada kayo, di ba? May
Same
club
interest,
kayo. Yes.
yeah.
So now, it may promote parang love for going to the school, for learning eh. Yun naman yung point ko. Baka sakali.
When you're talking about, though, trimming down to essential subjects,
Yes. 4
oh.
subjects na lang.
this is parang feeling ko a huge undertaking to determine kung ilan yung, how many subjects are we talking about na tingin mo dapat?
Ako, honestly, based on my
Naramdaman ko yung
hearings,
pagod.
yung hearings ko, ano lang po yan talaga, Reda, sa totoo lang. Ang pinakakailangan lang ng isang Pilipino, any learner, kahit foreigner pa, is really, reading comprehension, grade level appropriate.
Okay.
So meaning, yun lang ang kailangan talaga eh. So,
Talaga?
baka 4 to 8 subjects, for a maximum 8, minimum 4, yun lang eh.
Basta may reading comprehension.
Basta natitest yung reading comprehension mo, grade level appropriate. Meaning, dapat, yung na binabasa mo by grades 11 and 12, kahit pa paano, papuntang college level na yan.
Oo, tsaka naiintindihan mo talaga.
Yes. And based on tests, di ba?
Yeah.
Makikita mo yung, parang tipong medyo yung binabasa mo and yung comprehension mo, matitest natin na kaya, may critical thinking ka na talaga by the time. Yun lang yun eh. You don't need to have 10, 20 subjects for functional literacy.
Tama.
Yung mathematics is also important. So yan, math, grade level appropriate rin.
Okay.
Yun lang yung akin. So it probably will be really reading comprehension, mathematics. Maganda pa rin yung values are still there. No?
Yeah.
And then, magdagdag pa sila ng sciences. Science is important rin.
Yeah.
So akin tingin ko talaga, it will, yung core should be about 4 to 8 subjects.
Sobrang, ang layo to
what we have now.
Yeah.
Now nga, lilituhin ka pa. Pumili ka na ng track, pipili ka pa ng strand. And not only that, marami tayong subjects. I'm part of this, this EDCOM 2. It was discovered in this EDCOM 2 na marami rin tayong teachers that are not teaching the subjects that they mastered, that yun yung master nila during college. Imagine that, may mismatch pati dun rin eh.
mismo.
Because ang dami masyadong
Masyado maraming
Subjects, maraming...
Kailangan mong i-fill up,
Oh,
di ba?
yes.
So ngayon may vacancy kami dito, kahit history, major ka, baka magturo ka ng something else.
Then Reda, yung kanina tinanong mo, yung quick fix. Of course, kailangan yun yung talagang kahit mag-suspend muna tayo ng curriculum for half a SEM, pero reading comprehension, pero K to 12 yan. Lahat talaga dapat. Pero once we've done that in the future, isa pang mindset na kailangan mapalitan sa Filipinos. Minsan kasi iniisip natin na pinakamahalaga pag grade 7 teacher na ako, pag first year high school teacher ako, pag pag nagtuturo na ako ng specialized subject, di ba? But I think dapat yun na tayo ng mindset eh. The crucial stage is still key stage 1. Everything emanates from key stage 1, meaning K to 3. Yun yung pinaka-basic. So sana yung best teachers natin, mapanatili natin sa K to 3.
That's also another problem, no? Like to have all these lahat ng industry nag-suffer sa ganun because a lot of people seek out supposedly greener pastures abroad, and these are supposedly our best people.
Yes.
And they're not to no fault of their own.
Yeah.
They're not incentivized to stay in here and
even domestically, Reda.
talaga?
Kasi ang thinking ng iba, if I teach math, parang mas angat ako kaysa teaching sa a grade 3 class.
Oh,
Even
okay.
that mindset must be changed because ang pagtuturo ng sa Key Stage 1 is one of the most difficult things kasi diyan tinuturuan yung magbasa and
tama.
comprehension
Oo.
So hindi pa pwede diyan na sa totoo and I don't mean I hope wala akong ma-offend.
Oo.
Pero you must really put there the best teachers, the experienced teachers kasi that requires patience. That requires may pagka-individualized yun So you have to have your most experienced and best teachers really being retained in K-3.
Tama.
Yun
tama.
talaga And kailangan natin...
Formative years, formative minds. Yeah.
Kailangan malagyan natin sa isip ng tao, pag K-3 teacher ka, ibig sabihin you are one of the best teachers we have in the Philippines.
Oh, dapat ganun.
Ganon, yeah.
Well, hopefully it reflects yumaman din sila. Kaya,
Yes, now based sa meron tayong bagong career progression.
yan, oh.
Yes, and based on that, hindi na magmamatter kung nagtuturo ka ng specialized subject o kung nagtuturo ka ng mas mataas na years.
Yeah.
It should not be anymore. That should no longer should that be the basis.
Factor, para hindi rin mag-discriminate on
Yes.
like what job do I take. Diba?
Yes, and
Parang
baka
ganun.
isipin kasi, hindi ko rin alam, baka dahil yung mga Hollywood pictures before
Yeah.
Na di ba, pag nanood ka ng romantic comedy, dati meron yung mga teacher na mga preschool, yan yung mga, di ba, parang akala mo, parang pastime lang nila. But it is serious work.
Exactly,
It is even more serious than some of yung upper years Kasi formative, as you said, yun talaga yung crucial talaga yan.
I'm looking at where you're coming from now na, okay, let's trim it down to like 4 to 8 essential subjects and everything. Parang recently, parang napag-usapan yung CSE.
Yes.
Do you think that's one of the 4 to 8?
Ang CSE, ito yung issue for me
Okay.
sa CSE. Meron silang mga inihain na bill in Congress, in the Senate.
Uh-huh.
And yung inihain na bill, in fact, sa Congress na lang, I'll talk about the House of Representatives. Ang short title niyan is really about teenage pregnancies.
Okay.
That is the thrust of the bill.
Uh-huh.
And they always, when you talk to them, ang sasabihin nila lahat, ang daming adolescent pregnancy ngayon. We
Yeah.
have to resolve this. The question is, why don't we use the existing law?
Uh-huh.
Meron tayong reproductive health law of
Yeah.
2012.
Yes.
Under the reproductive health law of 2012, nakalagay po doon maliwanag naman, reproductive health education in our schools.
Yes.
Anong definition ng reproductive health? Under the same law. Ang definition niya, maliwanag sa lahat ng tao. That's why that passed. Anything and everything that pertains to the reproductive system. So isn't that already the answer to teenage pregnancies? If you want to teach sex
Yes.
education,
Okay.
that's it So my next question, kasi hindi dinaan sa committee ko yan, pero at the end of the day, ang maapektuhan yung learners in K-12. So my question is this. If your objective is to help adolescents understand the difficulty of teenage pregnancies, why do you need a new law when we already have the reproductive health law?
Okay.
Yun yung basic kong question. Bakit? Ang problema kasi, the moment, now, ang ginawa ng DepEd, they started introducing this term, comprehensive sexuality education, in the curriculum. That is an undefined term in the Philippines. Hindi siya defined. That is defined dun sa international agreements natin. So, nakakatakot for me yun. Why don't we want to define that in Philippine law first before we introduce it in curriculums? Kasi, subject tayo to changes. Kunyari mag-change yung definition abroad. Then, that will affect what it means here.
Yeah.
Currently, as the way I read it now, ang nakasulat doon, comprehensive sexuality education, sa bill po may provision sila doon na nakasaad na between the ages of 15 to 18, the learner can make a decision, even pwede siya magpa-opera, without the consent of the parents.
Okay.
Under doctrines called the evolving capacity of minors and minors, yun yung point ko. So ano ba ang gusto natin? Teenage pregnancies or is there another objective? Kung may ibang objective, walang problema. But that must be discussed. Because aminin natin o hindi, magka-clash pa rin 'yan sa traditional family values.
Of course, yeah.
So that must be discussed. Alam ko, Red, sa totoo, I've spoken to my friend, mga kilala ko rin na meron silang ibang concerns.
Yeah.
Ang sinasabi ko din sa kanila, I understand yung concerns nila. Sinasabi nila sa akin na, Roman, ang problema kasi, minsan, wala rin matakbuhan yung bata eh. Pwedeng broken family.
Takot sa magulang.
Takot sa magulang, exactly. Yun ang sinabi sa akin. But this is not the way to respond to that problem or challenge.
Tama.
Huwag naman natin idaan na hindi alam nung family that we are going to go over them. Effectively, we will allow 15 to 18 years old Filipinos to make decisions without the consent of their parents. Again, kung ma-discuss yan na maganda kasi problema talaga yung magulang, then at least na-discuss.
Baka may provision na gano'n na maybe if it's coming from a place na broken yung family or gano'n yung situation.
Yes, or at the very least. Kasi meron din tayo talagang meron tayong iba-ibang batas, di ba? Like yung mga family code, which says na at the end of the day, ang magdi-decide niyan, you can go to a court.
Yeah.
But again, baka masyado mahirap to go to a court.
Oh,
then ayusin lang natin. Pero dapat pa rin, at least there's a third party, a mature, para sa akin that has to oversee. Hindi naman pwede na ano lang.
So is it that part of yung ang tawag doon, the adolescent yung bill na yun lang
The definition of yung provision na yun about 15 to 18 na on their own they can make decisions. Yun yung I think yun yung pinaka magka-clash talaga sa nagulat ako that I found that in the bill.
Okay.
There's one bill I saw na silent siya doon, pero ang sinasabi niya, pag 15 and below, kailangan mo ng consent ng parents, except, parang may exemption na rin eh. So yun yung hindi ko maintindihan na, I am sure, parents did not know that we are passing such a bill na may provisions na gano'n.
Yeah.
But then, there is a problem. Meaning ko, there is a problem based on the friends that I have that have spoken to. Meron talaga problema na may neglect talaga.
Yeah.
Meron mga hindi makaintindi talaga yung anak nila kung ano talaga yung preference ng anak nila. May ganyan. Meron talaga hindi.
Yeah.
And I think that should be discussed openly.
Yes.
So that when we resolve this issue one way or another, at least mulat ang mata ng lahat.
Tama.
Na may problema, we try to go to you, wala, hindi talaga ma-resolvehan. So, ito yung next natin. Pero yung floor ko dyan, sana, kasi ngayon most ng mga batas natin about guardianship or whatever, may judicial intervention eh. Kahit pa paano, maririnig yung both sides bago mag-decide.
Bago magka-decide.
Yes,
hindi
pero
yung independent ka sa gagawin mo, parang ganun.
Kasi,
ikaw na bahala.
Parang hindi pa ako ganun kasigurado kung accepted natin at kung 15-year-old ka, then you will decide to get to do, di ba? Parang hindi pa eh. In fact, sabi mo nga sa akin kanina, Red, you graduated high school, you entered college at 16 years old, and at that point, you did not even know what to do. So, that is just yun yung yung kailangan naman mas mas may guidance naman doon on how we are to tackle that.
Are we talking about like at age 15 to 18, like transition operations?
Pwede, kasi under the bill, pwede.
Okay, yeah.
Pwede under the bill.
Wow.
Yes.
Hindi ko alam na ganun. You know what? I would honestly say, ako, I'm very progressive about these things.
Yeah.
Pero I would say, I think, kailangan 15 might be too young. Too young.
Yes.
Masyado siyang bata.
Red, in fact,
to even decide on what to do, what you're gonna be stuck with for the rest of your life. You know
that is why it is dangerous na hindi natin define.
Gets.
Kasi if we import all the ideas from abroad, international agreements, kahit na UN pa yan,
Tama.
It is risky. And pag minimix natin ng issues na ganyan, there are legitimate issues. Kasi meron akong mga nakausap rin, ang issue nila is that paano kung may AIDS ka na? and that is your age. And then wala ka talagang...
Iba naman to. Oo.
Yun, kailangan natin ma-resolvehan yun. Saan sila pwede lumapit. Pati kung minimix sa bill, ang iba-iba kasama...
dapat hindi siya umbrella one everything,
Yes,
diba? Dapat
that's
iba-ibang
correct.
sitwasyon.
Kasi there are really, meron talagang mga situations na kailangan ng tulong. Kasi,
tama.
gusto man natin aminin o hindi, nandito na.
Nangyayari talaga siya.
It is here,
yeah,
di ba?
yeah.
And hindi na, as a human being, hindi mo pwedeng iwanan yon. But government should be able to help. At yung mga prejudice, yun dapat matulungan na matanggal yun. Pero pag minimix kasi ng mga issue na at the age of 15 to 18, pwede ka na mag-decide, parang kung in-all-in-one mo yun, parang...
Actually, at the same time nga, parang mas naging parang band-aid job pa siya. Kasi dahil hindi mo masyadong tinutukan bawat issue eh. Parang ganun eh.
That's why I don't think there is anyone who would be against certain realities that we have now.
Yeah.
Pero once you bunch every issue together,
Yes.
and sabihin mo accept all or nothing, that is unfair.
In an educational standpoint though, parang tawag doon, do you feel like itong CSE is okay to be part of the curriculum? Parang ganong klase?
Sa akin, maybe at a certain grade level, pwede na.
Okay.
At a certain grade level, pwede na. In fact, if it is an issue, again, hindi naman siya kailangang core eh.
Yeah. Pero di ba, we all know why is there reason eh. It's controversial. We're a very conservative country and then now we're talking about contraception, alam mo yun, mga ganong
But we're
klase.
past that na.
Yeah.
Because we passed the reproductive health already.
Yes, we did.
That is already a law and everything there is, that is already mandated sa batas.
Wala nang magagawa.
Wala nang magagawa. Ang sinasabi lang nung iba, kasi consistently may nagsa-challenge sa courts eh, di ba?
Of course.
But then there is a law already for contraceptive. Reproductive health law, under the definition of reproductive health, says anything and all matters pertaining to the reproductive system.
Yeah.
So, yun ang point ko eh. Kung sinasabi natin teenage pregnancies, that should be covered
Okay
by
na
that.
dapat.
Okay na yun. So, again, sabihin nila, pero hindi naman napapairal ng maganda yung batas.
Yeah.
At again, passing another law,
It wouldn't help enforce it kaya? Or...
let's implement what's there already. Why, di ba? Why give up on the implementation of something that is already there?
Okay.
Di ba?
Yeah.
But again, hindi rin meron siyang mga hindi covered. Like yung pinag-usapan natin, probably there are issues on AIDS and that are not covered. Maybe part of it meron, pero hindi pa lahat, di ba?
Pag ganun ba, do you just amend it or do you write another law to help
we
it?
can possible to write choice naman yun, write another law, amend. Pero ang point ko lang sa reproductive health, meron mga issues na hindi naman covered that is present now. Like may HIV talaga.
Yes.
I mean we can say that straight, di ba? And that must be addressed.
Yes.
Yan yung akin.
Okay.
Pero kung ikukumpul mo yon with other
Like,
parang all or nothing na naman.
Yeah, lowering age of consent sa operations and
why?
everything.
Yun ang tinatanong ko, why?
Gets.
When there is a pressing problem, and merong, aminin natin hindi merong according to some of the people I talk to, merong discrimination eh. That should be addressed.
Yeah.
Di ba? That has nothing to do with the 15 to 18. Di ba? That issue.
Tama. Ay, so by that, how does that go sa process? Pag may gano'n na, okay, your law is kind of good, pero there's this part na ayaw mo. Paano yung...
It did not become a law eh.
Yeah, so
it will be discussed again.
Okay.
So yun, hopefully, makaparticipate rin yung ibang committees like my committee.
Okay.
Yeah, kasi hindi kami kasama dito
tama,
eh.
hindi kayo in-include.
Yes,
okay,
I just found out about it, tapos na eh.
Oo.
Yeah.
And then, now you go to like a committee of parang
now
revising it, gano'n?
If it does not pass this Congress, which parang hindi naman ata abot na, if it does not pass this Congress, then next Congress na, back to zero siya.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, participative. But again, hindi naman siya back to zero as in back to zero. Kasi right now, nadidiscuss
learnings ka
natin.
na o
Yes.
okay.
Kahit pa paano nakaka-focus ka na on what you think should be there and not be there. Diba?
Just to like kind of like put it in context din, no? How often does this happen sa lower house? Like tipong ganyang klase na dapat pumasok ko sa committee ko pero hindi ganong klase. Like
Alam mo,
generally, does that happen all the time or
Ganito na lang. What is possible, it is possible for you not to be familiar with many of
Tama.
the provisions of bills passed
Yes.
pag hindi dumaan sa committee mo.
Yeah.
Because parang each one of us assigned, we are asked to join about 5 to 8 committees.
Wow.
Yeah. But we have 50 plus committees.
Yeah.
So, yung pa lamang, just to attend even 2 of those committees,
Yeah.
kasi every week may hearing naman eh.
Yeah.
And then may plenary, just to attend just even those 2 committees, talagang sa dami rin ng bills na na-file, lalo na sa basic education, dami talaga. Ubos talaga oras mo dun eh.
Yeah.
So, hindi ka makaka-attend ng committee meetings ng ibang bills.
Yeah.
Chances are, hindi mo nga alam na may bill na na-file about, kunyari, ako, education, di ba? Education culture. I probably would not know any bill filed on the creation of a new RTC somewhere.
Yeah.
Kasi sa ibang committee dadaan yun eh.
Tama.
Di ba? So yun yung challenges kasi kasi malawak naman talaga yung sa dami ng
Oo.
kailangan talagang tingnan.
Ang hirap niya.
Pero Reda, end of the day, ito yung sinasabi ko, there is no perfect law.
Yeah.
Alam mo we also have to we have to make laws for reforms.
Yes.
Pero we also have to admit kahit yung sarili natin ginawa, chances are hindi perfect yan.
Yes.
There will come a time that has to be amended, modified, or revoked. Kasi the circumstances have changed.
Yeah.
Or meron talagang
Tama.
nakaisip na mas magandang idea.
Yeah, oo.
Pero, it should not stop us now from saying na, baka, wag na muna kasi, baka you have,
Tama.
dapat
Yeah.
instead of staying where we are, reform tayo ng reform.
Yes.
Kasi,
And that's a good sign because it's progress.
progress lang eh.
Oh.
Anyway, kung may mali ka, there will be someone there who will say mali ka.
Yes.
Whether
Dapat.
sa public o sa Congress. So, mababago yan.
Oo.
Yun naman ang we have to be all matured enough to know na walang perfecto,
Tama.
but we have to have reforms.
Yeah.
Kung hindi, stagnation lang, wala rin.
Oh,
Pareho lang.
walang mangyayari sa
Walang mangyayari.
Wow. Yun ang magandang ending. Natutunan ko dito is hindi ko kaya maging congressman. Mahirap. And then maganda yung sinabi mo about no law is very perfect.
Yeah.
But as long as we have that mentality na we reform,
Yeah.
and then we do, and then we can make progress.
Yeah,
And that's all we can ask for.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Salamat, Red.
Roman,
Thank you. Yes.
Medyo Serious Talk Show is on. Ano pa rin ba tayo? Tuesday pa rin ba tayo? Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 1 News. Talaga, masisante na ako sa trabaho ko. At kung wala kang TV tulad ko, pumunta ka lang sa YouTube, search mo lang Medyo Serious Talk Show with Red Oliero, and you can see all our episodes. Thank you so much again.
Salamat,
Thank you,
Sir Red.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.